welcome back to another episode of With Sonar. I'm your host, Luke Velasquez, and thank you so much for joining us again every Wednesday live at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Today, we're going to take a look at long-haul trucking freight volumes, where they're headed, where they've been, and how it's impacting the supply chain. And of course, join me, as always, is my co-host, Kyle Taylor. Kyle, thank you for joining me again. This was actually your topic today, long-haul trucking.
Yeah.
Was it not? What made you decide that?
My topic, we got matching shirts now.
We do have matching shirts, thank you.
It's a completely different setup where we are completely branded right now, but yeah. So
is there a reason your logo is bigger than mine?
Got to compensate a little bit.
I feel kind of left out. So I got this is like the trial and error, the first shirt, and then we were like, okay, well, that could be bigger.
Test model, I ordered them, so I get to have the better one.
Yeah, I'm the guinea pig. But no, it looks good. I like it. I like the bigger logo. It looks good. I expect to have mine next week.
Yes.
One just giant logo.
Yeah, just the entire back of the shirt.
I'll just wear a logo.
Yes.
That's fine. I don't need a shirt, just a logo.
Well, I think when we were leaving the show last week, we were asking who's going to be the first person to get a FreightWaves tattoo onto them. Who do you think is going to be that first person?
I think we're also assuming nobody has one. We haven't done a
full
thorough survey. I don't know of anybody that has one.
If you were to bet a certain area of the organization would get a FreightWaves tattoo, which area of the business would it be?
Oh, that's a good question.
I would leave it in the data science area.
I was thinking that there's some folks over there that they might surprise you.
Yeah.
There's some outgoing folks over there.
Yeah, I think you definitely have one of our PhDs probably get a Sonar logo on their entire back, is what I'm thinking.
Probably.
Yeah.
I wouldn't doubt it. I've built this amazing, database. It's mine. I'm gonna wear it everywhere I go. Awesome.
Why not?
Fantastic. Why not?
Yeah.
It's great to have. You got to wear the brand at all times. Anyways, getting back to long-haul trucking, what made you decide to cover this topic today?
Well, it was an interesting topic to really start to approach, mainly because I started looking into some of the intermodal and domestic container volumes. And so by doing so, I was noticing some lanes were having a lot of increases in volume, especially when I first went after the domestic loadeds in the United States, which we always talk about some of the imports, and we always go towards the international sense. But
and what are domestic loadeds for those that aren't aware?
Yeah, so these are containers that are on the rail that are filled and delivered in the United States. So they aren't coming imported. That's really the big differentiator.
And those are mostly 53-foot intermodal containers, right?
Yeah, so you'll see them a lot, especially on the long haul sector. They correlate really well with long haul because that's their first competition. When you're talking to companies that are maybe IMCs or just on the rail, that long haul, your competition is the truck the 53-foot truck that can go the long distance. And so the reason why I wanted to bring it up today really was because we're starting to see some inflection. We're starting to see some big changes in rates from the intermodal rates that we have in Sonar that we gather. And then also we're looking at some of the trucking rates as well. And so some areas are finally seeing where they're starting to tip over, where you see trucking rates are now more expensive on certain lanes than intermodal rates. And when you see that, that's really the competitive advantage that you're going to have to go on the rail. Yeah. Brokers being the very savvy brokers, opportunistic, whatever you want to call them, price gougers, whatever the flavor of the month is right now. But the opportunistic sense of having the ability to go on multiple modes, you got to have something to be able to tell you, well, when is it more advantageous to get a cheaper rate to go onto the rail? And intermodal fits perfectly with companies that are really starting to break down, that usually go over the truck, because really it's kind of gives you that, it's not that big of a difference in service levels. I mean, you do have if you are not worried about it showing up, today versus tomorrow or the next day, still, without you knowing, I mean, a truck comes and picks it up, a truck comes and delivers it. So it's a very interesting mode that I wanted to bring up and really dissect, and I think we got a couple great pages that we can start to elaborate with. I mean, you come from the brokerage side, so I'm sure when you had customers call you, hey Luke, I got this going from here to here, first thing I said was like, okay, is it time sensitive? Can you go rail? Can I break this up LTL? Does this unfortunately have to go 53?
Right. Yeah. Generally, the shippers that are using intermodal freight, they are. I mean, they're very price conscious. They're not as. It's not so much like has to get their on-time freight, right? It has a little bit of wiggle room. So they're willing. Truckload is generally always a little bit of a premium to intermodal because it's going to get there faster. You can almost have a guaranteed window. There's always a little bit of wiggle room there, but when you're doing long haul freight, which we define as 800 miles plus, anything over 800 miles is considered a long haul movement. That's when you start to get some competitiveness from the intermodal market. So depending on where truckload rates are moving, as those start to move up higher and higher, at some point, those shippers that are kind of on the fence, they say, you know what, the premium is too much for me to ship on a truckload. I'm fine with it taking an extra 1, 2, 3, 4 days on the intermodal route, and I can save 15% or whatever the number is. So, so we've been looking at that relationship, and truckload volume levels as well as tender rejections, which we know lead spot market rates, are continuing to push up. Right. And that's, I assume, is having a correlation, which we'll take a look at.
Yeah, I think I may have jumped the gun a little bit and went straight for intermodal. Really, talking about the entire freight economy, we are seeing volumes go up. Yeah. More businesses are opening up in each market. I was actually talking to a guy out in the UK, and they're like, maybe we'll have restaurants or bars opening up in a couple of weeks, and I'm like, I'm going out tonight, going to a restaurant. So I'm sorry for your luck.
Yeah, I was like, I've been out to eat multiple times now. I think I've been to at least 3 sit-down restaurants over the last 3 weeks. Yeah. Just hitting like one a week. I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna do it again. Let's go. Yeah. Come on.
Thank goodness. But you're seeing a lot of companies going back to their normal operations. A lot of companies that
we play catch up a little bit too. That could potentially be a rise for some of that volume.
As much as it was difficult getting everyone set up to work from home, it's almost just as difficult saying, hey, let me reel you back in. You're coming back to the office. But I think it's very fortunate. A lot of companies are saying, if you want to come back, you can. If you don't and you're comfortable, you can stay there as well, which is, I think, what we'll probably end up doing as well. What fits your comfort zone, which is nice. But because more businesses are opening up, different states have more of the phases opening up. We're seeing increases in volumes come up. And so really what's driving this is, I think it's a replenishment on the warehouse side, which is why you're seeing these long hauls, and that's really the main reason why we've been seeing it since the beginning of the month.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think that's a good point. We've also seen, over the last 18 to 24 months, we've seen a bit of a shift from import volume from the West Coast to the East Coast. The West Coast still has significantly more than the East Coast. There's no surprise there, but some of that market share has been shifted over to the East Coast as supply chains shift and more freight is shipped to the East Coast. But recently, over the last month, that's not been the case. Shippers have been trying to get the freight as quickly as possible to the United States, and it saves them about a week in transit to ship to the East Coast, and then they can quickly truck it or put it on the rail to get it across the country. So we've seen and that's causing a lot of that long haul freight. When it comes in through the East Coast, it usually stays within a 200 to 300 mile radius, especially when it comes in the port of New York, New Jersey, or Savannah, which will just supply the Southeast. But when it comes in the port of LA, Long Beach, I mean, it's going to Chicago, it's going to Dallas, it's some of it's still going to the Northeast. Right. So that's driving some of that long haul volume that we'll take a look at. But overall volume levels are high. Not a lot has changed in terms of volumes week over week. They are already elevated. They're already about 3% above where they were in 2018 and about 6 or 7% above where they were in 2019, and that's kind of held for about almost 2 weeks now.
Yeah, no, it's definitely interesting. We're seeing a little bit more activity migrating back to the spot market, which is a great sight for really everyone we're seeing on all these social media platforms that are really driven on the spot market. So spot market activity coming up. We see tender rejection rates coming up on the contracted side. So as that falls through the route guide, we're seeing rates go up, which is really positive, I think, for the industry as a whole, because coming off the heels of rates being extremely suppressed, it's a little bit of positivity is kind of what we need right now. But what are you thinking about bringing up here? We're going to be looking up at a chart.
Here's what I got. So first off, I want to show, if we can, go ahead and flip the screen for the viewers. So this right here chart everybody's familiar with. We've shown it a bunch of times. Just to get a quick perspective, we won't spend long here. We're going to switch to another chart. But this is the overall volume level in the United States. So keep an eye on that blue. That blue is 2020 volume levels year to date. That's as of yesterday. The orange line is 2018 volume levels. So you can see we are elevated above that 2018 volume, right? And then the green is 2019. So we're heavily spread. We're falling into that seasonality norm here where we do in June. We kind of hang out. It's pretty flat for most of June, and it will be actually probably until the 4th of July when we have, things kind of go through that dip and recovery and surge again as we get stuff moved. But that's overall volume. This next chart that you see here is this is that freight, and I put this on a 1 month scale. Okay, this is 1 month, and let's actually back it out about about 60 days here. This will be good. So now what you're looking at is the percent change over the last 60 days. So pretty much since I believe the last week in April. So since April 24th, we're looking at the percent change in long haul outbound tender volume. So remember, this is just volume that's over 800 miles,
right? And
rejection rates on those loads. So you have a 35% increase in volume for long haul freight since the beginning of May. That is substantial.
Yeah.
35% increase. We had a 35% increase during the a 30% increase in the panic buying surge at the beginning of March.
Right.
And we're seeing a 35% increase just since April 24th.
Right.
In long haul freight, which is massive. That's a lot of miles.
Yeah.
That's a lot of miles. And then look at the rejection rate though. As that volume started to surge, rejection rates just went through the roof. And remember, this is the percent increase. They were low. They were low at the very end of April. So, right now they are sitting about 9%, which is high. But that has become almost a 200% increase.
Yeah, and I think this is also a little bit of the feeler that shippers are giving to their contracted carriers that are getting first dibs on these new lanes that are going out right now, because advantageous shippers who have their data to tell them what's going on, what are they doing? You're out there seeing all these mid-year bids now. You thought you were going to have a summer of just relax at the beach, get your feet up on the table like my boy Luke here. Oh, nope. Here's a 5,000 lane bid. I would love to get your feedback, let's say 7 days. And so we're seeing a lot of that really starting to happen. Everyone who I'm talking to from the carrier and the brokerage side and the shipper side are all very busy right now saying, all right, well, shipper, I'm being told I need to rebid because we need to capitalize on some lanes. And then, that trickle down effect to the broker and carrier. So.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, a lot of the shippers are a little nervous, they're a little uneasy. They don't know exactly what's going to happen. They need to get their freight moved. They want to make sure their freight's going to be moved. But they also want to make sure their transportation cost doesn't go out of whack, and they don't want to have another 2018.
Right.
So they're doing a lot of rebidding, making sure that they are securing capacity, because these volume increases, rejections aside, the volume increases, that's going to impact carrier networks.
Yeah.
Right? Because volume, we know, and I'll say this 100 times, volume levels are not all volume is created equal. Volume levels increasing at the national level is going to be impactful in different areas. Some areas will increase more, some areas will actually decrease.
Yeah.
And you need to be able to understand that relationship. And with how volatile the market is right now, markets will flip that you aren't expecting to flip at this time.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, and that's how it was not long ago, earlier this year, we saw Denver flip, and it became like this big head haul market for just a little bit of time. It wasn't super long, but it was there. And it was like, whoa, what's going on? All of a sudden, I can't get a truck to get out of Denver? Really?
Right.
And I think that's part of what's happening. We're seeing that here. That's the rise in rejection rates. That's substantial as carriers are realizing, I have options.
Yeah.
I have options now.
Exactly. And so we are also seeing really record lows in rate per mile. So now you're finally seeing the carriers that are saying, I can't do this for that long. I'm rejecting that freight.
Yeah.
And so you get these new tenders that were coming out trying to say, hey, I can get freight a little bit lower coming off from my shippers, but that's exactly what we're seeing.
Yeah.
We're seeing route guide compliance, and which means more carriers are going to have to be rejecting those freight to get to the spot market to make money. I mean, we just saw we were talking to Chris Henry last week, and operating ratios are now up to 105. Like, you have to be very conscious of the long-term agreements you have, and you'd hate to have a sell-it-on effect, or you have these companies that have these long-term agreements with Amazon where it's not profitable. So so why not shift my capacity into different markets?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
That's the decisions you're making, and as a shipper, you keep driving those rates down, you're going to end up without capacity.
Right, exactly, and I think that's part of the reason why they're rebidding right now is they know that, and they don't want to have that 2018 year come around again. So they want to secure capacity, and ultimately it's probably better for them to pay just a little bit more right now.
Yeah.
To secure the capacity on certain lanes. In other lanes, it still makes sense for them to stay low and potentially even push lower, but it's not across the board. It definitely depends on where you are right now.
Right, and you have maybe these styles of companies that have been open through the entire the COVID era, I guess we're in now. And then as new companies come back, what's happening? More capacity is getting taken out. Now you're seeing really a tighter market that occurs. And that's exactly what happens even on a normal marketplace, where you see, okay, well, I have a new product coming out. We have starting to ramp up for retail. We'll see if that even happens. Barely happened last year, right? Now this year, I don't even know if retail season's going to show up. I mean, the entire supply chain routes have been completely changed.
Well, Amazon, they postponed their Prime Day. Right. I mean, and obviously that drives a lot of stock. Now that stock is obviously, or that inventory is going to be stocked long before.
Got your head on the stocks, huh?
Right. Well, too much Dave trader. But no, when they have that inventory and it gets restocked, I mean, obviously it's going to be stocked long before the Prime Day happens. But with them pushing Prime Day out, that's going to push. Does that push other things out? What happens to Black Friday? Does all of that inventory going to be here? What's going to get shifted?
Yeah, that just-in-time delivery, especially for them, it's that long haul. They're the ones that are really focal on the air, team drivers, really trying to get the freight there the fastest. And so, I mean, I saw my Amazon Prime days. I've made probably that mistake too many times now to even count. I thought it was Prime, and it's supposed to be here in 2 days. 2 days from now, it's not out for delivery. Oh, it's not delivering for 2 weeks. So even people like Amazon, who seem to have all the capacity, are struggling right now. So it's interesting time.
My wife ordered me a pull-up bar off of Amazon probably
small hints
2 months ago. That's a pretty big hint. It's pretty obvious hint, right? So I still haven't gotten it.
Yeah.
It's been delayed that long. That's what's happening right now. We're still waiting for it to come in. But 2 months ago, and it's still not here. I mean, like we've reached out. It's like going on. They're like, it's stuck. It's coming. They kind of beat around the bush. But the reality is that they got nothing.
I've been to Walmart's, Target's too many times in the past couple months really to count, and that workout aisle of those stores are never full. So good luck with that.
Yeah, it's okay. My gym opened back up, and I started going again. I've lost some weight. I've almost lost the COVID-15.
Good. We're hitting sophomore year over here, so we're finally figured out how to work with the snacks.
Almost back. Yeah.
Too many ramen noodles.
The quick answer is you don't snack, especially when you're working from home and you're staying. Because when I first started working from home, I didn't move around as much. I just sat at home, and I was like, I got to work nonstop. But you have to get up. You have to go for a walk around the block. You have to kind of get that energy, get the blood flowing. So staying with long-haul truckload volumes, let's go ahead and take a look at the map here if we can. Flip this up on the screen. So we were just looking at the overall long-haul truckload volume increase, which was 35% up, and then the rejection rates, which were up almost 180%.
Right.
This is the weekly long-haul truckload volume map. So this map here shows the markets in blue are having the most extreme increase in outbound volume for long-haul freight. Remember,
love a good weekly change.
And the markets in red are having the biggest decrease. Now, the white markets are also increasing, but kind of in smaller metrics. They might have like a 5 or 6 or 7% increase. Right. Like over here in let's look at Dallas, for example. They're up 5%. They're long-haul outbound volume.
Right. So what this map isn't telling me is that certain markets, let's say Memphis or Chicago, oh, that's a bad market. No, this is just saying that there's been slight changes compared to this time last week.
Right, exactly. This is simply compared to this time last week. Like Memphis, for example, is down 1% from this time last week. But I think I remember I was looking at Memphis a week ago, and it was up quite substantially. So it's holding those gains, is what you would say.
It's my favorite thing to do.
That's right.
That's my favorite
I
thing
don't
to do.
want to hold my pounds gains, not those gains.
We're back in the gym. We're going to try to hold on to these gains, the
That's
good
right.
gains, right?
The good ones, yeah. Well, I have to lose something in order to hold on to the good stuff.
Yeah.
Just kind of, for example, Flagstaff, Arizona is up 79% long haul freight, over the last week. So they're seeing a massive pop in volume. That's obviously going to be very impactful for things going on. That could actually potentially pull some capacity out of Phoenix as well.
Right.
Phoenix is a big backhaul market, as we know, and that could potentially cause a lot of carriers to deadhead up to Flagstaff. And I was looking at tender rejections out of Phoenix are actually up right now, and it could be potentially caused by that increase in long haul freight. A lot of carriers just want those long miles, so they deadhead out of Phoenix once they deliver there and go up to Flagstaff. That could be helping that.
No, there's been a huge increase, and really, I mean, if we're looking at it, this is coming in from like 3 to 4 days
let's just
ago.
Pull up the chart. You can leave the screen up for the viewers at home. I'm just going to split the screen here for them so they can see this. Folks, check this out. I'm going to switch this to the daily view. Look at that right there. Look at that chart right here on the left.
Yeah.
All right. Look at that. This right here. That's the outbound volume. Remember, look, we were down here just at the very end of May. May 28th, we just surged. Now, this is an index scale. So remember, just look at it like the percentage change. So we've gone from basically 2 on the index scale to over 6. So we've gone up over 3x.
Right. No, exactly.
Almost 3.5x in long haul volume in what, 2.5 weeks?
Right.
That's insane. That's massive. That'll tighten up capacity. That'll drive carriers out of Phoenix to go up there, move that freight.
Yeah, no, exactly. And so understanding that, I mean, if you're a carrier and you're trying to better utilize your asset right now, it's seeing those things, and instead of maybe getting that deadhead rate that we usually, or not the deadhead, the backhaul rate that we normally have, is, maybe you're coming back from California, maybe you drop down to Flagstaff.
Yeah.
Maybe get you a tan, hit the desert. I don't know. Hit our boy Joel up.
Yeah, that's right. Joel,
couple
our
hours.
VP of Customer Success, sitting over in Phoenix. We're here in Chattanooga. I was looking at the temperature. It's like over 100 degrees there right now.
Yeah.
I was like, why do you live there? Yeah. Although you're from Florida, so it's always hot there.
I don't have desert, though.
You got the beach, you got the water.
Tropical, not desert.
There they have, I don't know, water bottlers.
Yeah.
Bottle of water if they want some water.
Casinos, yeah, we'll go up to Vegas.
There you go, a little something.
Yeah. Golf courses, they do have some nice golf courses.
Then you're going to lose your paycheck gains if you go up to Vegas.
Yes. Yeah. All those gains that we created from this, from with Sonar.
That's right. With Sonar.
We lost them in Vegas.
No. But this is good. Now, obviously that's good for carriers, but brokers and shippers, they need to know this too.
Yeah.
Right? If I'm a shipper and I ship out of Phoenix, that could potentially suck up a little bit of capacity. Now, Flagstaff isn't as big as Phoenix. It's not going to make Phoenix run dry. We know that. Yeah.
I mean, but if I'm I hate to say a small shipper, maybe I do less than 5 truckloads a week. I mean, that could be that I normally do for a certain rate. That could be the difference in me getting that capacity or not.
Yeah. I mean, what if you get one less truck and you move 5 truckloads a week? You just lost 20% of your capacity.
Right.
That's massive. That's huge.
And you have no idea what's going on. You just hope the broker is telling the truth.
Yeah, and they don't know what's going on if they don't have this.
Yeah.
They might call around to a bunch of carriers and hope that the carriers know what's going on.
Yeah, let me dial like 10 carriers and try to get understanding.
Yeah. And the carrier changes their mind, within 2 hours because they learned something else.
Right. No, exactly.
Yeah, I mean it's tough. It's tough to keep up. But yeah, I mean that's pretty big. So Flagstaff, Arizona is really going off. Even Phoenix. So Phoenix is up 8.5% for long haul volume, right? So that's substantial considering the size of the Phoenix market. While it's still a backhaul market, we know it's a backhaul market. That's still substantial for a market that size. Or Dallas at 5%. Those are still big changes considering the size of those markets. Yeah. But let's go back to intermodal, because intermodal has a big impact on the on the volume. We can take off the screen for the viewers. We'll make a change here in a second, but kind of introduce it. What are we going to look at?
Yeah. So what we're looking at is we love to have all of this different data in here. We sometimes get known for having too much data in here, but
no such thing.
In order to understand when to go in a certain mode or when to extend that outreach into, okay, should I get a quote for intermodal? Should I try to understand this a little bit better and be more of a consultant? Because that's really why 3PLs are so beneficial, is that they are logistics professionals and they're helping out their customers by really understanding the freight. And so something that I did a lot of when I was working at the 3PL I was working at, one of the things I got really good at was understanding, can this go on other modes? And so what we're going to show you is we have intermodal spot rates. So we're looking at what the rate per mile for the Los Angeles to Dallas lane is. And then we're also looking at one of our partners who gives us some data, which is truckstop.com, has a rate per mile for LA to Dallas as well. And so what we really started noticing on this lane is that I think about 2 months ago, we saw that the rate per mile on the spot market now became more expensive to go. And so seeing that would tell me, if I have customers that are doing that long haul from LA to Dallas, I am going to try to look for other capacity in order to fill this. And I think you got it pulled up.
Yeah, let's go ahead and flip this up here on the screen. So what we've got here in blue, you've got the intermodal spot rate. Again, we're looking at LA to Dallas. These are going to be 53-foot containers, correct?
Correct.
And then we have from our partners at Truckstop, they gave us the all-in rate from.
Well, this is a rate per mile.
Oh, this is rate per mile.
Yep,
excuse
rate
me.
per mile.
All-in rate per mile, though, right? It includes fuel.
Yes,
I believe, right? So we're looking at 204 miles. So yeah, so look at this, right? So we've got pretty much look at since the end of April. So you have truckload rates sitting at about $1.13 a mile on this lane. LA to Dallas, $1.13 a mile, have surged to over $2 a mile right now.
Hello.
Come on. Give me the money.
Yeah.
Where's that money at?
Yeah. You want me to take your freight for how much?
That's right. Yeah. It's $1.90. Well, you know, we live in a different world from 10 minutes ago.
Well, hold on. But this screen's telling me it should be $1.30. Sorry, buddy.
That's right. Come on. But then look at intermodal. Intermodal surged quite a bit. That's that blue.
Yeah.
Intermodal went up.
This is
from $1.50 to $1.94. Now it's having to keep up because it's like, well, shoot, we need to increase our rates. Truckload volumes are going all the way up, right?
Yeah. No, exactly. So you're seeing an increase in capacity. The rail or intermodal providers notoriously lagged, slow to make the decision on increasing those rates. So that's why you see that couple week delay. But yeah, no, that's exactly what's happening. Refilling warehouses. We're seeing a lot more demand coming out of LA now. And what's going to happen? People are going to try to look for the cheapest option, and that's what we just identified right there. So. Yeah. You want to know more? Talk to Luke, right? Talk to Kyle with Sonar.
With Sonar. Which, by the way, leave us a comment below.
Yeah, our buddy Dooner was giving us a little bit of a shout out.
Appreciate you, Dooner.
Yeah, the man, the myth, the legend, most popular guy on LinkedIn.
That's right. Give him some love. Watch What the Truck. Put that coffee down.
Yeah, put that coffee down.
He's on everything except for with Sonar. We need to get him on with Sonar.
Yeah, start ringing some bell. We'll get his picture, right here.
Yeah. I know it. We need some of that. He's got some great energy there.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Love it.
But yeah, leave us a comment below. Let us know if you want to see more about this, diving deeper. Maybe there's some specific markets you want to cover. We'd love to go a little bit deeper. I know we're getting close to the end here as we cut out. But Kyle, pleasure speaking with you. As always, we'll see you next Wednesday. By the way, the viewers can't see, but I can see your shoes. Are those new?
No, these are just good old Adidas. Retail industry, hashtag got them on sale.
That's right, yeah, I like it. I'm rocking some flip-flops, which I won't show you right now because I'm going to see that. But folks,
Luke literally came in off his boat.
Thank you for joining us on With Sonar. Please join us next week, Wednesday, live at 4 p.m. Have a fantastic day.